We get asked pretty regularly what sort of stuff gets uncovered in a home inspection when someone is buying a place. So we thought we'd do a quick video to go over some of the main things they'll look at. Now, we're not home inspectors, but we've sat through enough inspections to know what they'll be looking for. But before we get to the video, my name is Greg Holmes, and I'm a realtor here in beautiful Surrey, a suburb of Vancouver, in the Fraser Valley region of British Columbia, Canada. And we'd love you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the like button, so more people just like you can get this helpful information we're trying to provide. So that common question we get asked, what does a home inspection cover? Obviously, the best person to ask that question to is the home inspector directly, but we can certainly provide an idea of what to expect. It's also a good idea to speak with the home inspector if there's part of the home that's of concern, or if you've experienced a problem in the past that you would like the inspector to make sure they investigate. Now, if you're looking at detached houses, there's always the obvious items that you're likely to see and identify on the viewing of the home. Things like if a kitchen or bathroom is old and needs to be updated, old light fixtures, old doors and knobs, that sort of stuff. But there's a lot of items that won't jump out at you when you're first looking at the home. These mystery repairs are things that become costly in the future. Now, plumbing is one of those hidden items. Newer homes have PEX plumbing. Generally, this is white tubes that you'll see under the bathroom sinks or in the mechanical room. But there's often poly-bead piping in homes built in the 80s and 90s. Copper piping is also found in many homes in the Fraser Valley too. And I'm not here to tell you in this video the differences and concerns between them. That's what an inspector can do. I always like it when the inspector shows you where the main water shutoff valve is for the home. This is very good to know in the event you ever need to rush to turn off the water to your house. Trust me, that's not the time to discover you have no idea where it is. Hashtag flooding. And nobody likes to take a cold shower. So an inspector will be able to tell you the age of the hot water tank, or maybe even better if you have a tankless system with unlimited hot water all the time. Homeownership does mean that sometimes you move into a home and stuff breaks in the first few days or weeks, and that sucks. And a home inspector can't guarantee how long a water tank might last, but they'll be able to tell you whether or not you should begin budgeting for a replacement based on its age. Now, there's all sorts of different heating systems in a home. There's furnaces, electric baseboards, heat pumps, radiant in-floor heating, and more. And while you'll know what type the heating system is because it'll be listed on the MLS fact sheet, an inspector will likely tell you how it's being maintained and if it's fully operational and if there's any potential problems that you should be aware of. Seriously, when you're walking through the home, this is about the last thing you're thinking of. So one of my favorite parts of the home inspection is the crawl space. I do love a good crawl space. And not all homes have them, but when they do, sometimes they contain hidden secrets to the home. Typically, people's first questions about the crawl space is, how big is it? How much room is there? How far back do they go? Is it easy to access? And the most popular question I get about crawl spaces is, can I store stuff down there? But an inspector will answer different questions for you. Is it wet? Are there holes? Is the foundation solid? And do critters live down there? So many questions a home inspector will be able to answer for you. And generally the crawl space is not accessible during your initial walkthrough. Sometimes it is. A seller might have the forethought to turn on lights in a crawl or open the hatch, maybe even provide a ladder or stairs for your initial visit. But generally that's not the exception. It is the exception, it's not the rule. So you want to be sure to get the sellers to provide you access so that nothing is blocked. Because inspectors won't move heavy items to create access. That really is the seller's responsibility to provide that access. Okay, so my second favorite part of the home inspection is the attic space. So you know the part between the ceiling and the roof that you can't see? This is an area that neither you nor me will likely ever see. First of all, an inspector needs to locate this attic access, and again, make sure it's accessible. I've seen some unusual locations for attic hatches, so it's easy for a seller to forget to move boxes or shelves to gain that access. Most inspectors that I know go up in the attic with some sort of respirator mask on and a flashlight, and it's not the place I'd ever recommend going. Not only is it warm or hot up there, but if you don't know what you're doing, there's a good chance, no, check that, a real good chance you could fall through the ceiling. So what sort of things pop up in the attic space? Well, inspectors will look for any signs of moisture, mildew, mold. There's usually signs of poor ventilation in that case. Over time, duct taping on vents loosen or fall off, and that's when that warm, moist air from your shower gets up in the attic. It can wreak havoc if it doesn't find a way to escape to the outside. And inspectors will likely tell you about the insulation type and levels in the attic too. My absolute favorite question to ask the inspector, drum roll, do you see any friends up in the attic? And by friends, I mean rodents. Sometimes they'll find evidence of rodent activity which might be from a long time ago, and sometimes the inspector might go up there and find themselves staring head to head with a raccoon. Ugh. An inspector will also check the electrical components of the home too. Older homes in the Fraser Valley might have aluminum wiring. Really old homes might even have remnants of knob and tube wiring. Copper wiring is generally the most common you'll find. It's also likely that they'll look at the electrical panel and note any anomalies with the panel or what kind of amperage there is for the home. And you know the ground you walk on to get to the front door, aka the driveway? While we often won't even look at the ground, an inspector will likely note any major cracks to be aware of and whether they require any further investigation. Okay, so perimeter drainage, those are the drain pipes underneath the ground that go around the perimeter of a house. Now, an inspector can't see these drains or how they're functioning, but sometimes there are signs that drainage may not be great on a property. Easy signs if you're able to have a buildup of water in the yard or if there's soft spots on the grass. A lot of it depends on the lay of the land, if it's flat or on a slope, and what type of soil the house is sitting on. Right here in the Fraser Valley, some areas are very much clay-based, and water doesn't drain so good in clay, versus like a gravel base where drainage is great. Okay, so siding on a house. Home inspectors will often note that, and in BC we have a lot of older homes with wood siding. When wood deteriorates over time, it will begin to rot. An inspector will generally look for signs of rot on a home. If there's aluminum siding, there might be damaged pieces. Once aluminum is crunched, it stays crunched until it's replaced. In newer homes, you'll see vinyl siding that might break if it's brittle, or it'll melt if the barbecue is too close. And the newest construction uses siding called Hardie board. And this is a concrete composite. It's very durable and fire resistant. And hey, we're not done. There's the roof, along with the soffits and the downspouts. An inspector will advise as to the roof's condition and detail. Chimney can crumble too. So you might have recommendations for chimney details and work. And mortar repairs even. Same with fireplaces. It's always a good idea to get like a wood-burning fireplace serviced and cleaned before you first use it. But an inspector might tell you if there's some extra work or servicing required, especially on a gas fireplace that's not working properly. I've learned the word thermocoupler from more than a few inspections. Fences, windows, general wear and tear of a home are all things to think about when buying a place. Did you know that windows have a lifespan of about 35 to 40 years? I had no idea until my first inspection. Okay, so switching gears a bit, if you're looking at condos or townhomes, these are called strata units, and inspectors will likely walk around the complex and not just the property you're looking to buy. They'll often ask to see the underground parkade, or the mechanical or boiler rooms. In a condo or apartment unit, there's often no furnace or even a hot water tank, so the mechanical items are generally locked up in the underground somewhere, like a boiler room. Condo complexes have locked access to roofs, and they're quite regularly not available for a home inspector to view. And that's when you'll have to rely on any documentation that the strata has regarding the roof, often in the form of a long-term maintenance plan called the depreciation report. So overall, there's a lot a home inspection can tell you. And now that we're getting out of a crazy market and subject conditions are becoming common, it's always advisable to have a home inspection on a home you buy for peace of mind and for knowing what you're about to get yourself into. And hey, if you want to reach out to me for a chat about real estate, just click the link below to book an appointment with me. I'm happy to chat. I'm Greg. Thanks for watching.